Welcome. Welcome back to my channel. I don't even want to go into like a normal intro. This video is not going to be a normal video about books or a review or a rant or any of that. It's not about books at all. But this is a topic that is very sensitive to me, very touchy, very hard to talk about. Even though it happened quite a long time ago now, it's still pretty raw, so this is going to be fun. Basically, I want to share my experience that I had when I was 16, 17, and I was groomed online by an older guy, and I just want to share my story because I feel like there could be a 16, 17-year-old me out there right now who could be dealing with the same things, and I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. So I was never going to share this story. However, with everything going on with Christy Carlson Romano and Alexa Nicholas and Colleen Ballinger, all of the stuff with grooming going on, I felt empowered. Thanks to Alexa Nicholas. Honestly, I'll leave her channel in the description if you want to go watch her videos. They're very hard to watch, but they're very real, and just, I love her videos. I love her channel. She's so strong. And watching all of her videos on her experiences made me feel like I was ready to talk about mine. I'm gonna have to cut these coughs out. Okay. So, I used to be a part of a community on Facebook, and I'm not going to get into too much detail about it because it's embarrassing. We don't need to go there and relive that. But it was on Facebook, and it was a community where you could write with other people. Characters from different shows, movies, or you could write your own like original characters. So, when I was 16, 17 years old, I was a big fan of Glee. If you know me in real life, you already know that to be true. Wouldn't be a surprise. So I just turned 16 when this all happened. And I remember it all so vividly. So we had just moved to a new house, and I had just turned 16. And I had this writer reach out to me on Facebook, wanting to write our characters together, which I know it's a whole confusing situation. I'm so sorry it's too complicated to get into, but basically we were going to write our characters together. So we started talking, and me being the 16-year-old, naive 16-year-old at the time, I knew what I was doing was wrong in the first place, being in that whole Facebook community. But did that stop me? No, and I really wish it had. If you're thinking about getting into stuff like online writing and stuff like that, like at that age, don't do it. It's not worth it. I regret it every single day. So basically, we start talking, and I think everything's fine and normal. He seems like a really nice person, and we talk for months, and that's how grooming happens. Should I even say that? I know in Alexa Nicholas, I think she says brooming, so we'll say that. That's how brooming happens. Because I don't know if you can say that word on YouTube, but that's how it starts. Is they start by getting to know you and just talking with you and starting a friendship and making you feel like you're close. And that's very much what he did. I will not be using names in this situation because I haven't spoken to him in years, but in case he happens to be watching this, I'm not going to take a chance of anything coming up, so we're not going to say names. However, he was really good at convincing me, oh, we're friends, we're good friends, like we're so close. And that's how they get you most of the time. So they'll form a friendship with you, they'll form a bond, and that's all to get you to do what they want you to do. So it started out with just back and forth talking and writing our characters together. And eventually, I'm not proud of this. I'm not proud of this. This is a cautionary tale. Do not do what I did. He talked me into writing some things that I should not have written. I was underage. I was 16. I should not have been writing with him. But you come to trust these people and you're like, oh, well, they wouldn't do anything that would get me in trouble. Like, it's fine. So I felt a little bit uncomfortable writing it because I just knew this is inappropriate. But when you form that friendship, you want to do stuff like that. Like, you're like, oh, it's an innocent, like, we're just writing, it's fine. And I did that a few times with this person. And over the course of, how long was it? Maybe a few years that we talked. It became gaslighting also. We would have some fights every now and then online about him. He would say like, oh, you're not online enough, like we're not talking enough, like you don't care about me, you don't like me anymore, you don't want to be my friend anymore, and blah blah blah, and like trying to make me feel guilty. And I was in high school still at the time, so a lot of the times when he said that I wasn't online, I was either with my family, like I wasn't at home, or I was doing schoolwork because I was still in high school. So like looking back on it, it's so, the signs were all there. But so we had a fight one time, and I was so upset because I thought that this person was not going to be in my life anymore, and we weren't going to talk anymore, and I had upset him and I had made him mad, and oh, I'm so sorry, like I'm sorry that I'm not on enough, I'm not online enough, we're not talking. And he feels like I'm abandoning him or whatever the case was. So whatever he thought, he convinced me that he was upset at me and we weren't going to talk. And it was maybe like a day or so before he talked to me again. And that day or so to me, it was like the longest day ever because I was so scared that I'd lost a friend. And I thought this person was a genuine friend. It took me now till I was around almost 30. I'm 28, I'll be 29 in June. So it took me this long now to realize that it was grooming and that it was gaslighting and how manipulative he really was. I had no idea because I was just a kid. And to me, it's just like, oh, you talk to your friends online, and if you're not talking to them often enough, of course they're going to get sad. They're going to be wondering where you are, wondering if you're okay. And this person convinced me that we lived in the same state. I'm not going to say what state I was living in at the time, but he told me that we lived in the same state. So at one point there was a storm that happened. And I thought he lived close to where the storm was, based on what he told me. So there was maybe a few days, was it a few days? A week maybe? Somewhere along those lines, where I didn't hear anything from him, and I thought, did he get hurt in the storm? Is he okay? Did something happen? In that time, when he came back, when I thought the absolute worst had happened, He came back, and I was asking him, like, what happened? Are you okay? I thought something happened to you. Like, I thought you were in the storm or something. And his reaction was just that he was laughing at me for being so concerned. And he said, don't worry, I'm fine. Like, everything's fine. I'm good. Whatever. You're just overreacting, blah, blah, blah. And that's something that manipulators and groomers groomers, I'm so sorry, I keep saying the word, will do, is they'll convince you that you're crazy, and they'll convince you that, oh, everything's fine. What do you mean? I was only gone for like a week. Like, everything's fine. But if you do that to them, it's a full-on freak out. I'm going to do something to myself because you weren't here. You were ignoring me. You're not here enough. You're not talking to me enough. And it's a completely different situation if it's something that I'm doing on accident because I'm busy in life. I'm so sorry, I have a life outside of talking to you online. I'm sorry that I'm just a teenager and I have school and tests and everything. So that's what they do, and those are the signs that you want to look for. If you feel like you could be groomed, if you feel like somebody is possibly manipulating you or gaslighting you, one of the most important things to look for is if they are trying to make you feel bad for not being around. If they're trying to make you feel guilty, like, oh, I just miss you so much, and I miss talking to you, and I don't think you want to be friends with me anymore. You don't care about me anymore. And if you just try to say, no, I've just been busy outside of the internet, and they turn it back on you still, to blame it all on you and say, oh, you just don't care about me, and blah, 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 and they ignore you for days. That's a big one to look for, because that's a lot of what they do. And to get into the whole Colleen Ballinger situation, which doesn't have anything to do with my story, so I wanted to get my story out there. Basically, I haven't talked to him in years. We don't stay in contact anymore. I don't even know who this guy is. I don't know who I was talking to. It's terrifying. Do not do this on the internet, guys. I promise you it's not worth it. You will regret it for the rest of your life. The things that I wrote with him, I will regret for the rest of my life. I'm not going to get into that and what that entailed, but because that's very personal. But it was very inappropriate, and it was very, like, easily he could have gone to jail. Just being honest, like, if I'd said something to my family, or if I'd said something to the police and this guy was found, he could have gone to jail for what we were writing together, if that tells you anything. So, because I was underage and he wasn't. So, the situation is terrifying. Do not do this. Do not. If you feel like, and don't do what I did, because I was dealing with a lot at the time, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't reach out to my family. I didn't tell my friend. My friend knew I was talking to him, but she didn't know, like, I don't think she knew the extent of, like, what was happening. So don't keep it to yourself. Just don't keep it to yourself. If you feel uncomfortable with how someone's talking to you and how they're making you feel, tell someone, tell your family, tell your parents, tell a friend, tell an adult that you trust. If you're underage, like I was, just find someone that you trust and that you can talk to about it, because it's not an okay situation. And this is a thing that we need to talk more about in this world, because it happens every day. I'm not the only one that's ever been through this, and I'm sure I won't be the last one to ever go through this. So just talk to somebody you trust. Please, 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 please talk to somebody. Like, I cannot stress that enough, because it's something I wish I did, and I didn't, because I was scared, and I thought that I would get in trouble, or I thought that he would get in trouble, and he was, I thought, my friend. So there's just so much. Just talk to someone, please. Please, 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 please. Find someone to talk to. But to get into the Colleen Ballinger situation, obviously her her situation's a lot worse with Adam McIntyre. If you guys have followed that story for the last year or so, like I have, whew, it is a story. It is wild, like insane, the things that she's getting away with, and no one, people are saying something, but no one seems to care. And especially like police, where's police in this situation? I don't know, because Adam was like 14 when this happened, and an adult sending lingerie to a 14-year-old is grooming. Like, I don't care what anyone says, I don't care what anyone's opinion is, it is not right, and it is illegal, and it should be something that she gets in trouble for. Like, I'm sorry, but she belongs in jail. She does not in prison. She should not be making vlogs about finding rocks and still filming her kids. Like, there's a whole video I can make just on Colleen and just reacting to that whole situation, because it's awful. It's so bad. It's so bad. Here, little break from a hard situation to talk about. Let's say hi to my puppy. Hi, Nala. You say hi? You say hi? It's nice to have puppies at times like this. Just sit here with me for a minute. Okay. So, yeah, just that whole situation is awful, and I could easily make a whole video about that. Maybe I will in the future, I don't know. But also, what I wanted to talk about with Christy Carlson Romano is, so she had Alexa Nicholas on her Vulnerable podcast. If any of you saw that, that was a few years ago now, I think. And so she had her on her podcast, and she did a whole video with Alexa talking about Dan Schneider and her experience on Nickelodeon and the abuse and the grooming that happened there. So I want to talk about that for a second also, because I have so many thoughts on it. Just so many thoughts. So one thing that I know for sure is, okay, bye. Christy took Alexa's vulnerable episode off her channel. She deleted it. The history, the story, Alexa's time that she spent to go talk to Christy about what she's been through has been erased, completely erased from Christy's channel. And a lot of people have reached out to Christy to maybe see if she'll comment on what happened or why she took it down. And all we hear is crickets. So, that's fun. And also, I realized that if you say something to someone about, oh, hey, why'd you delete this? That's kind of awful. You'll get blocked. So I am now blocked on Instagram by Christy Carlson Romano. And honestly, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I truly don't care that she blocked me. All I want her to do is to come forward and say why she took the video down. Just admit that you don't care about survivor stories the way you claim to. Is all I want her to do. But will she do that? No, of course not. So I really just want, I don't even know what I want at this point. I just want people to start sharing their stories if you can. Obviously, it's very hard to talk about these situations and to tell your experiences and share these stories you've been through, because it's awful. It's awful. And I cannot believe in the year 2024 we are still silencing. I'm sorry, my dog is playing. I don't know if you can hear her. We are in 2024. We are still silencing survivors of grooming, and we are still protecting groomers. We are still protecting. I don't want to go as far as saying pedophiles, but I mean, maybe they are. So we're still protecting these people. And I want to scream it from the rooftops that we need to talk about these situations, and we need to make these situations right, and we need to change things, because it is so long overdue for a change on how these situations go. No, Noah. Sorry. We are overdue overdue for a conversation about these topics that are exploding on the internet right now. So I just wanted to take some time to share my story and to explain the warning signs that you need to look out for. Please, if you see any of these signs, any of those warnings that I talked about, please talk to someone. My dog is going to be loud. I'm sorry. But if you see any of these signs, if you see any of these things happening that someone's trying to do to you, talk to someone, please. I want I just want to be honest, and I don't want people to go through what I went through and the darkest period of my life. And I want people to know that you are not alone. If you are being groomed, if someone is talking to you in ways that make you uncomfortable, if someone is trying to make you do something that makes you uncomfortable, please talk to someone. Please find an adult. Please find someone you trust. Please do everything you can to get out of the situation, because thankfully for me, nothing happened to me. I don't know if he really lived in the state that he claimed to live in. Can I help you with something? You just want attention? Okay. So I don't know if he lived in the same state as I did, like he claimed. I have no idea. I never met him in real life, thank goodness. But so many times those kinds of stories end in the worst possible way imaginable. And luckily for me, thankfully, I was okay. I'm so thankful to be here and to be able to share this story. And even if this just touches one person, even if just one person hears this story and hears my experience and feels like they're seen from this and feels like they are not alone, that's truly all that matters to me. And I promise I will be back to happy, positive booktube content after this. I just really felt like this needs to be shared. I needed to talk about it, and I need to make sure that other people know what to look out for and what kind of signs to look out for and what kind of things that people will do to lure children. Like, let's just be honest. I was a child. We need to stop sugarcoating things and just be honest, because the fact of the matter is, I was a child, I was underage, and I'm very thankful to be sitting here today and that I'm able to share this story and that I'm able to talk to you guys about this. And I just hope that it touched one person. I hope it helps one person. I hope it helps anyone out there who might need it. I'm so blessed to have the family that I have and the friends that I have who have always been there for me. I really don't want to cry on camera. Oh, okay. Basically, I just want to make sure that everyone out there knows you are loved and you do not deserve this stuff. You do not deserve what's happening to you. They're not a grown adult talking to you. Does not mean that you're so mature for your age. We need to cut that line. Just leave that behind, because it's not the truth. It infuriates me when people say that. They're like, oh, you're just so mature for your age. The older guys want... No. It's inappropriate. It's predatory. It is grooming, and it needs to stop. And that's all I'm going to say. So, I hope at least one person got something from this. If you did, feel free to leave a comment. Yeah, I'm not going to go into a usual spiel at the end of this with comment, like, and subscribe. That's not this kind of video. So, I just hope that you got something from it, and I hope that somebody learned something from it. And I hope that you will talk to someone. If you ever face this kind of issue, if you ever feel uncomfortable, please just talk to someone. Please talk to someone. And that's all. I'm going to leave it there.